Coronation Street's Jodie Ramsey returns to the Platt house tonight, following her moonlight flit last week. When her attempt to seduce her brother-in-law David backfired, the shifty character knocked Sarah unconscious and fled the scene. After learning about her disappearance, Shona feared Jodie had been kidnapped by the thugs from the haulage company who had previously threatened her. However, viewers recently saw the schemer lurking around the precinct, confirming she is alive and well. In tonight's episode, Jodie finally shows her face at the house, with a relieved Shona desperate to know where she has been. Jodie immediately tells her she had been taken by the thugs and kept in a lockup. "They put a bag over my head. I was tied up the whole time," she lies, explaining that they thought she had other evidence that could incriminate them. "When I finally convinced them that I didn't, I swore they'd have no more trouble if they just let me go," she tearfully tells her sympathetic sister. The pair quickly make up over the misunderstanding with David, and Shona assures Jodie that she trusts both of them. However, David is less enthused to find Jodie on his sofa, and when she blames the thugs for Sarah's attack, he urges her to tell the police. Jodie protests David's idea, claiming that it will land them all in danger, but he insists she tells them something as DC Kit Green has been asking questions about the attack. Later, Jodie tells another huge lie about her disappearance as Kit is taking a statement. She tells him she felt awkward after the incident with David and went on a bender for days. When Kit asks why the police found her blood on the coffee table, Jodie shows him her bandaged hand, saying she broke a glass and cut herself. She insists she has no idea who hit Sarah, claiming she didn't see or hear anything. While Jodie seems to be in the clear with the police, David is reluctant to have her back in the house. In upcoming scenes, she decides to break into Daniel Osborne's flat for a place to stay, leading to an unlikely friendship between the pair. The rain hammered against the windows of number 8 as Jodie Ramsey stood alone in the Platt living room, clutching her phone with trembling fingers. Outside, Weatherfield carried on as normal. Buses groaned past, cafe lights flickered, and someone laughed outside the Rovers. But inside the house, tension thickened the air like smoke. Jodie had returned to Coronation Street with secrets already weighing heavily on her shoulders. But in the latest early ITVX episode, she crossed a dangerous line by telling 2 enormous lies that could destroy everything she had fought to build. The first lie came easily. Too easily. Shona stood in the kitchen staring at her sister with concern etched across her face. Since Jodie's return, things had felt off. Missing belongings. Strange phone calls. Moments where Jodie seemed to panic whenever certain names were mentioned. "Where were you this afternoon?" Shona asked carefully. Jodie didn't hesitate. "At the hospital," she replied softly. "I want to check on Dad." The words sounded believable. Compassionate, even. But it was completely untrue. Earlier that afternoon, Jodie had actually met someone in secret near the precinct car park, a mysterious figure who warned her that time was running out. Their tense exchange ended with Jodie handing over cash and begging them to stay away from the Platts. If Shona ever discovered the truth, the fragile trust between the sisters would collapse instantly. Still, Jodie maintained eye contact and doubled down on the lie. "He wasn't doing well," she added quietly. "I didn't want to upset you." Shona's expression softened immediately. Guilt replaced suspicion, and Jodie hated herself for how relieved she felt. Because manipulating people was becoming second nature. Upstairs, David overheard fragments of the conversation. Ever since Jodie returned, he'd sensed trouble. There was something desperate about her behavior, like someone constantly looking over their shoulder. But even David didn't realize how deep the lies truly went. Later that evening, the second lie exploded into life. This one was far more dangerous. Bethany arrived unexpectedly after finding something disturbing online connected to Jodie's past. She confronted her in front of David and Shona, demanding answers about a woman named Olivia, a young girl who had apparently been searching for Jodie for months. For a split second, panic flashed across Jodie's face. Then came lie number 2. "She's confused," Jodie said firmly. "I barely knew her. She's making things up because she wants money." The room fell silent. It was a brutal denial, especially because viewers already know Olivia shares a far deeper connection to Jodie than she's admitting. Earlier storylines hinted that Jodie once cared for Olivia and another child before mysteriously vanishing from their lives. Bethany wasn't convinced. "You're lying," she snapped. David stepped between them before the argument could spiral further, but the damage had already been done. For the first time, Shona looked genuinely shaken. Not angry. Afraid. Because deep down, she was beginning to realize she didn't know her own sister at all. As the episode continued, Jodie retreated upstairs, visibly cracking under pressure. Alone in the bedroom, she opened an old silver locket hidden beneath her clothes. Inside were 2 tiny photographs, the same children she kept pretending meant nothing to her. Tears welled in her eyes. "You had no choice," she whispered to herself. But even she no longer believed it. Meanwhile, down in the ginnel, David quietly admitted to Nick that Bethany might be right. Jodie's stories didn't add up anymore. The timelines changed constantly. Her excuses felt rehearsed. And now strange people were appearing around Weatherfield asking questions about her. "She's hiding something massive," David muttered grimly. Nick warned him to stay out of it, but David couldn't ignore the growing danger around his family, especially with Lily becoming increasingly attached to Jodie. That connection worried him most. Fans have already seen Jodie influence Lily's behavior in troubling ways over recent months, encouraging aggression and manipulation while subtly driving wedges inside the Platt family. And now, with her lies spiraling out of control, it feels inevitable that the truth is about to explode. The episode ended with a chilling final scene. Jodie sat alone in the darkened living room after everyone had gone to bed. Her phone buzzed with a new message. One sentence appeared on the screen. "Tell them the truth, or I will." Her face drained of color instantly. Then came another message. "I know what really happened." Jodie deleted both texts immediately, but panic consumed her. Outside, thunder rolled over Weatherfield as she stared out the window, terrified that her carefully constructed world was finally beginning to crumble. And for Coronation Street viewers, one thing is becoming painfully clear. Jodie's return was never about reconnecting with family. It was about hiding from the past. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Coronation Street Scoop News Update.